Welcome to the Raven's Call. I'm Eric Wordweaver Shervin, Goalie of the Ridgar folk here in East Texas. Today I want to talk to you on a subject that's very near and dear to my heart, and that is grassroots heathenry. Short and simple, this is going to be an exploration of national orgs and the role of grassroots heathenry today. Okay? National org, or national organization, stands for a large grouping of heathens that gather together on a national or international level to do what they do. It's kind of hard to explain because every national org is a little bit different in how they go about things. Today, you can't really be on the internet, troll him as I call it, without running into some of the national orgs in some way, shape, form, or fashion. You're going to run into the Troth, you're going to run into the AFA, the Asatru Alliance. You're going to run into these individuals, these groups, and you're going to see individuals from them, representation from them, in the many Facebook groups that you're in or in the many gatherings that you go to. Now, let me preface this by saying I am not anti-national org. I'm not going to sit here and spend 20 minutes trashing national organizations and what they do, all right? National organizations have a purpose. Now, as we've seen with a lot of the national orgs lately, their purpose tends to get lost behind the drama and the large amounts of BS that come out through those national organizations. The AFA, most notably recently, has undergone a lot of scrutiny due to some of the more racially charged things that they have chosen to engage in as an organization as a whole. So, again, I'm not going to harp on these things. You can go to the internet and see everything that you need to see with respect to that. What I am going to speak on, though, is that national orgs do have a purpose, and that purpose largely is based around lobbying. National organizations do, well, two things, lobbying and networking. National organizations, on the lobbying aspect, band together and fight for rights and representation for heathens in the modern world. So a large part of, like, the Open Halls Project was heavily backed by national organizations. The Open Halls Project, of course, being an active push for heathen recognition within the military setting. You end up with a lot of that kind of lobbying going on where they try to get laws passed that will protect heathens in different aspects of life. Now, that's one thing, lobbying. Say what you want about lobbyists, it's a part of the system, and so within that paradigm, they do some good for us. It's a whole other diatribe on the ills of lobbying and modern lawmaking. But the other facet of national organizations is that of networking. They do connect people in a lot of ways that they wouldn't be able to otherwise, because there is no networking for them. You know, that's the AFA, largely, despite all the evils and whatnot that they've gone through here recently, has provided a large networking base for people that got in, met other heathens in their area, and then bailed on the AFA to focus more on grassroots heathenry. We're going to come back to that. The gist is that national organizations are not all evil, okay? They do have their evils, and again, all right, let me explore for just a second, a little aside here, the concept of good and evil within a heathen concept, okay? If you look to sources such as Eric Wodening's book, We Are Our Deeds, excellent book. If you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It's a linguistic study of the old Northern European languages and Proto-Indo-European roots, that it explores the relation of words and context to show where a people place their values. In this specifically, arch-heathens and their concept of ethics, good versus evil, etc. Holy, unholy, a lot of that is explored in this particular book. The one that we're going to look at specifically here is good versus evil. Now, good versus evil was explored as that which is good seemed to be that which was good for the tribe or the family. That which was evil brought harm to the family or the tribe, or was neglectful to the family or the tribe. So, good and evil, very subjective, based on the tribe itself. And here's the point. One of the key factors in heathenry is Inengard versus Utengard. Now, for those that don't know, I will do a separate video on a full explanation of Inengard and Utengard. But the gist is it translates to inner yard and outer yard. The inner yard being those that are nearest and dearest to you, your family, your chosen family, your SIB or your immediate family group. Those people that you trust the most. This is a tight-knit inner circle that is very, very small by necessity. These are the people that you have routine contact with, the people that you hold the greatest amount of frith with. Then there's the outer yard. The outer yard is everybody else outside of that fenced-in yard that is your nearest and dearest. National orgs are made up entirely, well, almost entirely, of your outer yard. If you have inner yard, most of the time you're not going to end up in a national org if you've got inner yard that are heathen, because you're going to focus together and band and take care of your own needs there in your immediate area. National organizations try to create a false sense of kinship and a false sense of frith through mostly internet relations, and try to kind of build this faux tribe on the internet. I'm going to get a lot of flame for that, but you know what? Bring it on. It simply is what it is. Tribe doesn't exist on the internet. Tribe exists in person. Tribe exists with the people that you actually interact with. Now, of course, a lot of you are going to say, but Eric, I live in an area where there are no other heathens. I'm the only heathen in the area. How can I have tribe outside of the internet if there's no one around me? I would say to you, there's more around you than you think. Now, a side project that I started up, well, I didn't start up, Mike Spires actually started it. I restarted it here over the last couple of years. Mike and I got together back in 2009, 2010, something like that. And Mike held the first East Texas Heathens gathering. Now, East Texas Heathens is just that. It's a meetup group for heathens in the East Texas area. Sweet and simple. Started out as a Facebook call to arms, and we all came out and visited for a while. And that's actually where the tribe, the Ridgard folk, originated from. It was birthed out of that East Texas Heathens meetup, that very first one. Since then, the tribe has changed some. East Texas Heathens kind of went on hiatus for a while, and then I brought it back out of its slumber here over the last 2 years. And I've striven really hard to try and bring it back to full life, and we are doing very, very well. We've actually managed to get a good core group of people to come out. And there have actually been a couple of people that have interacted with us and gone off to spin off their own grassroots movements in their own home areas. That's the rub. That's what we're here about today. Grassroots heathenry is where it is about. You can deal with national orgs all day long, but heathenry is about being with people. It's about interacting with the other people. You can't do bloat effectively online. You can't do stumble effectively online. I know people will try. I know there are such things as Skype bloats and whatnot. I do not back these. I do not support these, simply because there is a physicality that is necessary in order to make any of the rituals truly effective and truly work. Not something that can be done over distance, in my opinion. Keep in mind, all of this show is just my opinion, so take that or leave it. Grain of salt, you know the deal. So, you can't have tribe over the internet. You have to build it in real life. And tribe is where it's at. You know, in Archeathan times, the smallest indivisible unit of social existence, really, was the SIB, the family unit. Anything that you did was as a representative of the family. If you look at the sagas, everybody's listed as so-and-so's son, so-and-so's daughter. The essence is that anything you did was as a representation of your family or your tribe. You were known as so-and-so's man. You were so-and-so's Carl. Those people were responsible for you, and you were responsible to them. It was a give and take, a reciprocal responsibility that built the basis of society at the time. And that built tribe. That built tribe out of a web of oaths, a web of familial ties, intermarriage ties. Tribe was built on a physically small, remote area, and the groups tied together would band together and see to supporting one another in a lot of ways. Today we strive to do that same thing. That's what East Texas Heathens is about. It's about me getting out there and providing a space for other heathens to come together, to visit, to talk about whatever interests us in a grith stead, a declared peace, an enforced peace stead, wherein people could come, visit, and know that if anybody got too far out of line, they'd be asked to leave the group, or forced to leave the group, if we need to call the law, whatever it might be. The idea being that it was a quote-unquote safe space for people to come together and visit with other heathens. Now, when East Texas Heathen started, I had no idea there were other heathens in the area. I thought I was by myself. And then, lo and behold, I walk in, and there's a dozen people at this meetup. It was crazy. I had no idea. Now, Tyler, of course, is a bigger city, and that's kind of where everything's based out of here. I live out in the sticks here in East Texas. But we based the ETH meetups in Tyler. I continue to do so because it's a common ground. It's an easily accessible, populated area that creates, again, that safe space, plus allows for ease of access for everybody that wants to come. They come out, we visit for a couple of hours in the park once a month. We keep doing it regardless of how many people show up, and we have us a good time. Through this, folk community has grown up in our area. We have gained members of our tribe through this. We have gained near and dear friends. We have brought some near and dear friends into the fold who are there routinely. They're not even heathen, some of them. They just like to come and hang out. We have one that we like to refer to as the cat that sits on the fence and watches us do what we do. He's a great guy, always adds great elements to the conversation and asks very good questions. We love having him there. He's part of our folk community. He's still part of the family, even though he's not even heathen. I end up with people out there that I had no idea had leanings toward heathenism. We use it to teach Heathenry 101 aspects. We use it to just have heathen conversation, talk about in-depth stuff in an environment wherein you don't have to explain your Fafnir reference. If you want to, drop a Beowulf line, people just pick up on it and roll. Or if you do have to stop and explain, it's because they're thirsty for knowledge and they're not just placating you socially. So there's a lot of value to being able to get together and do these things. So today's video, the previous 12 minutes of me rambling on, is all to set the stage for this. Get out and start grassroots movements in your areas. It's easy. It's very, very easy. And I'm going to tell you the number one tool that you can use to start it off exists in that loathsome place I call Trollheim, the internet. Get on Facebook. Start a Facebook group. Title it literally Your Area Heathens. Simple as that. You live in Chicago area heathens. You live in rural Wisconsin area heathens. Of course, that's a big state, but still, you get the picture. Pick a town, pick a region. Like for us, it's East Texas, because everybody in this area knows that East Texas is almost a state in and of itself. There's a lot to draw from. The key thing is that you put that out there, you get people to share it. And this is where your national orgs can come in handy. Get it out there on the national orgs. Use the networking aspect of those things and pull those people into local communities where they can actually make some connections. They can actually learn a thing or two and get off of the internet. Don't get me wrong, it's great for sharing videos like this and for exchanging some good sources and things like that. But the internet's not where heathenry happens. A lot of scholastic aspects can happen. Academic aspects can happen. We can talk theology, we can talk theosophy, we can talk all sorts of things on the internet, but heathenry happens in person. People won't understand that until they get out and actually do it. So do it. If there's not one in your area and you don't think there are heathens in your area, I challenge you. Start up a Facebook group, just a meetup group. Title it Your Area Heathens. And then invite everybody you know in the area, but they may be heathen or not. See who bites. Somebody may not. Put it out there on the national orgs. Get on the barking chain with other heathens in your area. Build a network. Get it out there. Get the name out there. Let people see it. Let people discover it. And as they get on there, get the conversation going. Get people talking. Start to feel people out about where they would want to do meetups, where they would want to go, where they might want to gather. And then start holding moots. Now, I call them moots. Of course, it's a rough translation for meeting. I know it's not entirely historically accurate. You're getting into thing versus moots and blah, 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 blah. That's not the point. The point is, it gives us something to call it that is our own, and it gets people coming out to it. We hold park moots. It's where we all gather up in the park and we visit. I choose the park because it's family oriented, because again, heathenry is very, very family oriented. I like parks because it gives us an open space. We can spread out. People can smoke if they want to, or you can bring drinks, snacks, whatever. Everybody can bring a lawn chair, sit up in a circle, visit for about 2 hours. Sweet and simple. Just set up a moot. I know some people that set up pub moots. Pub moots are great if you're dealing specifically with a large adult clientele. They want to sit around and drink and talk about heathenry. The only thing is that limits people that have kids that might be interested in coming out. Hence why I like to do park moots. We've also met up at like local bookstores, Starbucks, things like that, and when the weather was turning, and we didn't really have access to the parks because of the rain. So weigh your options, find a public place that doesn't cost entry, and set up a meeting. Let people come out and meet up. It's that easy. After that, things will kind of take on a head of steam. All it takes is somebody who's willing to set up a meetup group and then arrange the first couple of meetups. Now, you're not going to get a huge turnout for your first couple of meetups. You're just not. It's got to get out there. Get out there to the park, even if it's from 2 to 4 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon and nobody confirms to show up. It doesn't matter. Go out there and sit. Be there, take pictures, and put it up on the group. Let people know you were there and that it's a thing. Especially if you've got some friends that you can bring out with you to give other bodies in the group and let people see other bodies there. Put pictures up. Do a Facebook Live video. Whatever it takes. Get the word out there that you're trying to do this. People will come. Now, here's the thing about Facebook groups. You are going to get very limited response at first, and then you will start to build response over time, and you will get a certain number of people that will confirm to go, and a certain percentage of people, larger percentage, that will say they're interested. Interesteds never come, all right? Anybody that marks interested is not going to come, so don't bank on them. They're showing their support by hitting interested, wanting to follow it. They may even want to come out. But if they're not willing to actually click confirm to come to an event, they're not going to. It's just as simple as that. Now, you will get a few that will hit interested and come anyway. They are the exception to the rule, okay? Most of the time, when somebody clicks interested, they're not actually coming to your event. It sucks, but it is what it is, okay? So, set the events up, put it out there, invite everybody that you can. And when you set up an event, don't set it up through the group, because you want to create your area group as a closed group on Facebook so that your admins can patrol the people coming in and out, okay? You want to be able to oust racists that pop in. You want to be able to oust people that come in and want to get on a power trip and try and take over the group, things like that. You want to be able to police the group so that you can protect the Grithstead that you've established. So the group itself needs to be closed. Use your personal page to set up the events and make them open, public. That way it can be shared on other pages and people can click to confirm to come or not. And that will also lead people to your group page and get them to click, hey, let me into your group. I'm in the area and I would love to see what you have going on. I would urge you on your membership to be judicious. Spend a little bit of time. It doesn't take very long to flip through somebody's Facebook feed when they request to join and make sure they don't have Nazi flags up or, a bunch of, save the white race kind of things up there that are going to lead to more racially charged individuals coming in. You want to stay away from that as best you can. That's just not a game you want to get involved in. Once they get in, they're very, very hard to figure it out. So take a couple of minutes to vet people before you hit that approve, okay? And then pay attention as you go through. Let them prove their worth in the group. And if they prove themselves to be an ill fit or toxic, boot them. Don't hesitate. Get them out of there. So guard your membership. Set it as a closed group. Set the event as open. Share the event on your personal page and share it on as many other pages as you can. Heathen gatherings and events. If you've got a state heathen page, like we have a Texas Ossetry page, I like to share it up on there. There are, I'm sure, pages in the different states and different areas for heathenry, pagan stuff. get the word out there. Let people come. Focus. When you set it up, set your rules up and let people know that this is about heathenry. This is about, Northern European, Germanic heathenry. Whether you're more Scandinavian bent or if you're more Anglo-Saxon bent, doesn't matter. Northern European, get people out there first. You're not looking to recruit tribe members or kindred members. You're looking to recruit folk community. Good, decent people, and you may vary on your particular bents and points of view when it comes to heathenry. That's okay, don't worry about it. You can always have friends that vary in their cultural influences, and then build your tribe out of people with similar cultural influences, okay? But get it out there. Get the events out there, get them shared, and get them all over the place. The more people that see it, the better, because you're only going to get a small percentage of people that are actually going to show interest, and even a smaller percentage that are actually going to come. But if you can get a half dozen people out there, it's a win. If you can get even a couple of people out there, it's a start. But no one's going to do it until you do it. All right? This is where I'm going to put the charge out there. People moan all the time about not having heathens in their area, about living in an area that is, in the middle of the Bible Belt like we do. I live in the middle of the Bible Belt. And I've got a group going. I have a thriving tribe. And I've done the work myself. I have got good people around me who have worked just as hard. And together we have built a thing. Together we have built a community. And we are very proud of our community. We have a good, strong community full of good and wonderful people. You can have that too, I promise you. All you have to do is do the work. And it is work, but it's worth it. You have to commit. 1 weekend a month is not that big a deal. 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon, once a month, to host a park moot or a library moot, whatever you want to do. It's not difficult. All you have to do is build a Facebook page, invite some folks to it, make an event invite, send it out, and then show up. And then just keep doing it. Keep going. Don't stop. Do not lay off. Don't take a couple of months break here or there. Make it fit. That's how it works. When you show that you have the strength and worth to see this through and to keep it going, then that will inspire people to come out. Okay? So be that person that gets up and says, all right, I'm going to do this and I'm going to start it. Look it up, try to start the page. If there's already one in your area, guess what? Somebody else got on board and has started it too. Don't try and create a combating thing. Get in there and support them. Okay? Jump in there and help out. If it's a derelict page without a whole lot going on, find out who the admin is, talk to them, and figure out what you can do to help support that. Now, if the page is dead and you can't get a hold of the admin or anything like that, then by all means, go ahead and start another group up and start from scratch. But if there's an ongoing group, jump in there and be supportive. If it just turns out to be a bunch of folks talking on the internet, but they've got the name, and it's a good group of people, be the one that starts the meetups. Schedule them on your own page, throw it out there in the group, say, hey, I'd like to get together at 2 o'clock at such and such park. Let's get out there and let's meet. Get out from behind the keyboard and let's go see what's going on. People will start to come. Work with the people. Build a community. That's what it's about. When you build community, you will begin to see the strength of heathenry, and you will really start to reap those benefits. So it's not difficult. It's not hard. And you can do it. You can do it. Silliness aside, I'm serious. It's the easiest thing in the world just to say, I'm going to host this meetup. If anybody has got questions about formatting, things like that, hit me up in the comments. Jump in the Word Weaver Productions page and throw a comment up there. It's on Facebook. I've got a group up, Word Weaver Productions, so you guys can follow what I'm doing here on YouTube. Jump in there. Let me know that you need some help on formatting, and I will send you what I can. I'll show you mock-ups on my park moots. I'll share everything. because that's where heathenry happens. I don't want to see heathenry lost in the grand scope of these national orgs that pretend to be kindreds, that pretend to be tribes, that fool people into thinking that online heathenry is where it's at. It's not. And they will hold great get-togethers, don't get me wrong. Some of these national orgs hold fantastic get-togethers. They've got great people in them. The people are the key. But when you've got people in 20 different states and they're all trying to interact on the internet as though they're one tribe, they're missing the point. You need the people that are in your area that you can get together with, that you can hold bloat with, that you can do feigning with, sumble, that you can hold festival with. Even if you don't form a tribe, just a folk community that you can interact with and do heathenry. Be active, be a doer. That's where it's at. I don't want to see people get lost in the internet. I don't want to see people that are heathen in name only, jumping out there, calling themselves heathen, but not doing anything to back it up, not doing any of the work, not getting out there and actually meeting people, interacting, doing heathenry. Get out there and do heathenry. If there's not something going on, be the one that starts it. Let that be a piece of your legacy. If I can pass this off someday and somebody keeps doing East Texas Heathens after me, if I can pass off the Godor of Ridgar to someone at my end of days and let them take over, and Ridgar survives me into the next generation, East Texas Heathens survives me into the next generation, then I have a piece of legacy because I was a piece of starting that. I was a key part of keeping it alive. That could be you. That could be a part of your legacy. All you have to do is do the work. And I'm telling you, the only reason that you wouldn't do it is because you're lazy and you don't want to. It is not hard. It is not difficult. It does not take resources. It costs nothing at all to set up a Facebook page. It costs nothing at all to go out there and sit in the park for 2 hours and let other heathens come to you and talk. Nothing. It costs nothing but maybe gas money. And surely you can pull together gas money for a Saturday afternoon in the park. Set aside a couple of bucks here and there, get you a half a tank of gas, and go to the park and sit for a while. You know, of course you'll be out whatever snacks or drinks that you want, but guess what? You don't have to bring any. You could just show up and talk. It doesn't have to cost you anything. Just effort and just time. And that is the dearest commodity that most people are not willing to pay. Time. It doesn't even take all that much. Now, building it over time can take more time. You want to keep putting good things in the group to keep the interest up, sharing articles, sharing pictures, sharing stories, whatever. Keep people talking on the group. You're on Facebook anyway, right? Might as well just share that picture right over there to the group, get a conversation going about it. Oh, look, that's a cool article. Let's throw it up on the ETH page. I do it all the time. You know, hey, I love this video. Let me share it to ETH. Throw it out there and let people see. Then get the folk community charged to do the same thing. Get them getting the word out there. Let them tell the other people who are sitting behind the keyboard and are afraid to get out there. Let them tell them that, hey, this is a good thing. You want to be a part of this. Come on out. I always give the preface when we do ETH meetups that it is not a recruitment drive, because it's not. It is not about growing my tribe. My tribe is good. My tribe is solid. Don't get me wrong. If I find good people, sure, I'm going to bring them in. But that's a long, drawn-out process, worthing the whole thing. But it is not a recruitment drive. That is not what ETH is about. I don't sit there and talk about my tribe nonstop, except for, of course, to give my point of view. This is how we do things in our tribe. How do you guys do things in your hearthsteads? Make sure people know it's not a recruitment drive, that it's just a meetup group, and that the goal of the meetup group is to build community. That's what it's about. As long as you do that, you will have a good and strong thing. So get out there. Be the one that starts it. Get it rolling. Let people see what you've got. It doesn't take much. The only thing you have to overcome is fear. Fear of obligation, fear of failure. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter. Because worst comes to worst, you sit out there in the park by yourself for 2 hours. Big loss. Bring a book. It'll be fine. It really will. You will survive it. Social anxiety. Work with somebody who's an extrovert. Be the brains behind it and let an extrovert do the talking. Surely you know one of those. Even if they're not heathen, if they're just heathen friendly, enlist somebody to run their mouth for a little bit and get folks talking. You can do it. I know you can. So without dragging this on any further, I'm going to let it go. Get out there, get things started, and start a grassroots movement in your area. You can do it. Hit me up if you have any questions. Good luck to you. Hail.